Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode number 70 of the SWW Show, where we hit the turnaround last episode. I guess we're going downhill from here.
Well, now I'm gonna say also, I just want to point out, I think I texted you this, so last episode, I just want to point out was when it's opened with me going, do I think the layouts are slow? Do we think the layouts have slowed down? Is I just want to start how we started last episode. I just want to point that out. So,
And I think I even said, I don't know.
Yeah, you I don't know. Like, you went, you didn't push back and be like, for sure no, but you were just being like, I don't know, maybe like a little more, but it was, I don't know, that could have been more wrong.
I mean, I will say, we'll get to it later in the news, but numbers-wise, it has slowed down.
Yeah, no, numbers-wise it has, but, it's fair to say there was some very big changes this month in the games industry.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're here. It is the fall. Where I have a Michigan question. Are the leaves falling for you yet? Because I have, my one tree, it's a few of them have started changing colors.
They haven't started changing. They'll probably start changing here pretty soon, though.
Because we have some cold coming. But yeah, it is the fall. Everything is falling around us. Let's see what the hell happened this month. To get us started, AJ, it says here that you have been playing, and I told you that's why. I was like, this looks rough. It says here you've been playing, and I know we kind of talk about on and off. You've been playing Star Wars Outlaws.
Yeah.
What's kind of your initial impression of this new adventure out in the far, far away?
It's a perfect 7 out of 10 game, is how I would put it. There are a lot of things that the game does where you can see if they built on this game, like a sequel could build on a very solid base and become a much better game. The problem is, it's like a lot of the stuff that it sets up is very base level. Like, the whole thing of, oh, you're an outlaw and you're playing the different factions. There's really no consequence. Right? Like, you basically just need to get your rep to good in all of them, so people don't shoot you when you're flying around. You do that, and the game's a lot easier. Now, granted, I haven't finished the game, so I don't know if there's some, dialogue, splitting tree, splitting paths down the line where it's like, oh, well, you're in really good standing with this one and this one that's on the other side of this, so you can kind of be like a mediator. It doesn't feel like it's setting up for that, because the big bad is there's 4 factions, so like a 5th party.
So
yeah.
So to clarify then, this one, Open Outlaws is you're kind of the underbelly of Coruscant type, you're that type of, right, of the scoundrels, you're not the
even
Empire.
Coruscant, the only planet really that people would know is you go to Tatooine at one point. Everything else is side stuff. You start on the casino world from Last Jedi, and then I think you're able to go back, but other than that, and Tatooine, I think the other 2 locations are locations that are either new for the game or are in universe, just
but not in the movies,
planets,
in some other stuff. Yeah.
Which, that part of Star Wars is my favorite part of Star Wars, because it's the stuff that they don't talk about. And I think that's part of why it's my favorite.
Mhm.
Right? Like, Star Wars bashes you over the head with good versus evil, will they, won't they? But it's like, I want to know more about the bounty hunters, about people that are just trying to survive. Right? Like, obviously, not everyone is a Lando Calrissian or Han Solo bounty hunter. Like, there's probably some shit bounty hunters. And then there's the, the people slumming it in the world that never get talked about, never get brought up in the movies. Like, the closest thing, I guess, is, I was gonna say Uncle Ben, Luke's Guardians in New Hope.
Mhm.
That's really the last time you ever really deal with the like normal people, quote unquote.
Yeah, because let's say they're basically even like in other stuff you show them, like they're kind of inherently shown as like as normal as they probably get
Yeah.
of people who survived intergalactic wars. Like, yeah. Is there anything on there? Because obviously, like, I think I kept reading because like this is the big thing. So it's like just another Ubisoft game. Is that a fair critique? Do you think it said, or like if I didn't know that, and I just saw the game, I'd be like, oh, Ubi made this, or is that kind of like different in that formula at all?
It's different, but also it feels like a newbie game. Like, it doesn't have the towers that you have to climb up to unlock stuff. So you're not unlocking the map through going to a tower and having to climb up a tower and do, the eagle eye synchronized stuff from AC and Watch Dogs. It's much more of, you kind of have an idea of what the planet layout is, and then your map gets revealed as you travel.
So kind of like Far Cry when we were kind of messing with that, kind of like the
Yeah, it's
similar
more
work.
Far Cry-esque in terms of stuff unlocks as you get near it, and it's basically a fog of war map.
Mhm.
Is the best way to describe it. And yeah, I mean, the shooting isn't great. You either feel like you're indestructible or you're a glass cannon.
But isn't that like I feel like that's the Star Wars problem with shooting is that like inherently like for it to feel right to Star Wars, I feel like the shooting just like because like Star Wars shooting, it's fair to say, is not normal gun shooting by any rule stretch. So like I do think that might be like a Star Wars constraint because like I'm trying to think as you're saying that like I don't know if there's a good Star Wars game where I'm like that's really strong shooting. Like usually other stuff if people like the combat, it's never like the guns.
Well, I think part of that too is how Star Wars has built its world, right? Like, the Battlefront games were the closest thing to experiencing traditional combat. Everything else in Star Wars is like, oh, you're a Jedi, or you're a Sith, or you're Rogue Commando, I guess, is the next closest thing, but that's more of like, it's more focused on the tactics than it is anything else.
Yeah, that gave me more like a moving tank than anything, yeah.
Yeah. Whereas this is like, okay, you have your blaster that's kind of your unlimited ammo, do it all gun, but you can pick up rifles and sniper rifles and grenade launchers and stuff like that. Drop from the enemies. Now, not all enemies drop their weapon. So, if you go into a confrontation and somebody's got a blaster rifle and you're like, and the other person has just a blaster pistol, and you go, oh, well, I'm going to take out the rifle to get the rifle and then make my life easier. It's not 100% drop rate. And then any drop weapon has a very limited ammo counter. And also, as soon as you go to do something, you drop the weapon.
Oh.
So like if you're climbing, right, you can't.
It's one of those. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like we haven't seen games like that do that in a while. Like, especially because they're that common. Like, that feels like I definitely like games used to type gun mechanism than they currently do.
I mean, it does make sense when you think about, like, from the world perspective, right? People in Star Wars don't have walking arsenals.
Right. Yeah.
You know, it's one of those, you're either a blaster rifle or you're a blaster pistol kind of person. And there's really no, you know, you're not walking around with a Red Dead-esque arsenal on your back. But I mean, the pistol, like, they give you upgrades for it, and so you can, there's different modes on the blaster. So one of them is an ion blaster, so it's better with droids. The other is just like a normal blaster, and then you unlock one that's kind of like an exploding projectile. So it gives you options for how to play the game. But you can also get overwhelmed very quickly, and I think that's indicative of your character in that world, right? Like, your character's just a kind of slums thief, more or less, trying to find their big break. Very low level person. So, you know, they're not gonna be these force sensitive, you know, pushing blaster bolts away, deflecting them with a lightsaber. Like, they're gonna get hit, and they're gonna get hit a lot, right? Like, they don't have that master evasion that, you know, sometimes you can get with power trip characters. So it does benefit you to really focus on stealth.
Nice. And you said like a 7 out of 10 game.
Yeah.
That's what you're calling this. Ooh. Nice. Yeah, I've been messing around with SteamWorld Heist 2. I think we've kind of talked about it on and off. If you don't know, SteamWorld Heist 2 is... So SteamWorld is kind of this interesting series by Imogen Forum where it's thematically all these games are the same. Most famously, I think SteamWorld Dig was kind of the one that really kind of got their name out there kind of back in the early 2010s. So SteamWorld Heist 2 is a sequel to the SteamWorld Heist ones, which is their kind of like XCOM-y like tactical game sub-franchise in that. I think it's a very interesting game. It's the usual kind of, you get like a crew together, you start with like 2 people in most squads, you go up to like 3, 4, or 5, and you take out kind of these like ships, and you go and do combat on them. I think it's interesting and kind of how kind of these systems interact, and it's kind of these fun little like, kind of, there's a few of those like during the XBLA days where like you could kind of either see where you're aiming or set up your shots just right, and then it's turn-based. So you could kind of plan these out. I think it's a fun one of those. I also think it's definitely lacking in areas in that I think the game is not consistent in its difficulty. I also think there are problems, and it's actually an interesting idea. So it follows a kind of like Final Fantasy-esque like job system where you don't level up the character, you kind of level up this like subset of abilities. And that creates this cool kind of piece of where you want to change what weapons your guys are using sometimes just to unlock these abilities, and you'd use them when they're on that class. But it also creates a problem of like when you get later in the game and you need to like say, oh, I have this guy and I want to raise his other abilities. I'm not really bad with these weapons, and I don't have an incentive to do this training because I'm just going to get my ass handed to. I have to go back and like grind early on. And I think that's kind of a problem with this game. So I also think I probably put it down after like 10-ish, 15 hours. But I do say though, if you want one of these like kind of easy, kind of interesting mechanically like strategy games, kind of akin to XCOM or a lot of these things we used to see though, I think there's a lot of cool stuff in it and it's worth at least kind of checking out if it's up your alley. So, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, SteamWorld Heist 2, continuation of SteamWorld series, which to be fair, they've been now going on with these SteamWorld games for a while now. So it's like, I think like fifth or sixth in their like sub-series of games.
Yeah, they definitely have built that brand.
It's that brand, at least. Again, we don't know how like they sell game to game always, but like it's something to be said of. They're still around and they're like at least making these. So like I'm assuming they're selling in some capacity. That like it's making it worth it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Steam Mode Heist 2. Jumping into what we've seen, we got a few things here. I will start with. We're gonna start with the more fun one. So we've been watching. AJ, picture this, okay? It's after work. You know, maybe we got a bucket of popcorn, maybe a smoothie. We turn on the Max because you know, like out of the HBO brain idiots, and we see this TV show. Have you heard of this show called Forbidden Love?
I've seen it on my Max homepage, but I've never looked into it.
So for people who don't know, you follow 4 couples who each basically have contradicting religions but have fallen in love, and they're kind of dealing with that. It is, I just gotta say, there's one thing this show has taught me that people need to understand. If you are like a actual person who has agreed to convert to a strict religious thing, like God bless you, do what you want. Look into the religion before you agree to do this. Because the amount of this show is just that the couple didn't just do their research and went, I have to do what? Blows my mind.
Yeah, I'll be honest, you know, it's just like I get it, right? Like obviously being open-minded is the right thing to do. Dear God, like look into what the other person. If it's a new religion to you, like
yeah. I'm not saying don't be open-minded or don't be like I'm open to the discussion, but do your homework is all I'm saying.
Yeah, like if you're Catholic or other form of Christianity, and you want to start dating someone that's Islamic,
it might be worth doing, especially if they're like strict Islam, right? So like there's like obviously doing sex.
Yeah.
Do your research.
Bare minimum, just like read up on what their culture is.
Right. And again, maybe you're gonna walk away and be like, I'm okay with this stuff. Again, or like an example of one of these shows was if somebody who raised Catholic agreed to convert to Orthodox Judaism and didn't understand, let's just say, the small echelon of a list that goes with that.
Yeah, that's an odd one.
That's all I gotta say. Also, this show's entertaining. It is as dumb reality crap as you can imagine it is. But like, it's one of those, and if you're ever curious about like the amount of pitfalls that you assume correctly of combining these religions would cause, it's at least an entertaining ass show. I'll give it that. There was one episode left from watching it, and all the couples just kind of fell apart. So we're gonna see if they all come together, or if this show ends in a lot of divorces, which I'll be very intrigued by. My money is they all kind of come together because that sounds like how you end these shows. But yeah, it says here that you have watched The Green Zone.
Yeah.
What is The Green Zone? Green
Zone was, I forget what year it came out. It's Matt Damon. 2010. Matt Damon as like a Marine.
Oh,
in Iraq and is like leading these clean out teams for WMD sites, supposed WMD sites.
It says Matt Damon played random soldier.
Kind of, yeah. I think it's based on a book, so it's not completely random. And he kind of learns that, you know, hey, maybe Iraq didn't have a WMD program, and this is all a fugazi, and why are we really in Iraq kind of thing. So then the CIA starts working with him, and then he's doing this, and then the FBI and DOJ and DOD, and it's like, it's one of those, 2010s, why did we really go to Iraq movies?
Mm.
It's got some weird issues, though, where, like, they clearly shot most of this film at night, and it wasn't shot on film.
Oh.
The ISO fuzzy is so bad in some scenes. But, yeah.
So, is this a movie that's worth kind of going back to? Is this one that it was forgotten for a reason?
I mean, it's kind of a fun, like, not born thriller, like, also not spy thriller, but kind of a spy thriller. So, like, if you wanted more of Matt Damon as Jason Bourne, this isn't fully there, but it's kind of there.
This is that period of post Jason Bourne where Matt Damon's like, what do I do with my career?
Kind of, yeah. Where everybody was coming at him like, hey, what if we did Bourne, but he's a Marine?
Yeah, there's definitely like, it ends with Matt Damon going, what if it's Bourne, but he's an astronaut? But it was definitely a period of, like, Matt Damon, just be resourceful.
What if it's Bourne, but he buys a zoo?
Okay, that might be a stretch. We might be stretching that one a little further.
Nah.
Lastly, the stuff I've seen that I wanted to shout out is we saw earlier in the month Trap in movie theaters, the new Shyamalan movie. And I gotta say, Trap might be one of his better films. If you don't know, it's the one you've probably seen trailers kind of floating around where he is Josh Barnett is a mass serial killer, and he's taking his daughter to a concert, but the whole shtick of the movie is that the concert was a setup to basically capture him because they don't know who he is. So it's this really fun kind of double tension of like him I heard this pitch, and this is why I wanted to see it, and it's 100% correct, is this is a big Hitman level, but Josh Barnett's Hitman, but he's kind of in a trap situation. So he's trying to think of any human way possible to get him and his daughter out in the length of this concert, which I think is a really cool way to do this. And it also kind of like is this really fun of like, this is a movie that if the writing was bad, it would fall in its face real bad because the like things they think of wouldn't make sense. But I think instead, like, Shyamalan found this way where, like, sure, it's a little insane in the, like, he actually pulls stuff off the way he does type maneuvers, but, like, it's like, oh, yeah, a concert venue would have this location, or it would have this ability as an exit, or this thing. Like, I think it feels like, I'd be curious how much of this film got rewritten once, like, because it feels like a real concert venue. Like, I'd be very curious, like, if decisions were made once they kind of solidified where the filming takes place for this. Because, like, it makes sense, like, logistically, too. And that's what I think is really impressive about it. It doesn't feel like we're in a bunch of sets. It feels like we're just, like... And it seems like they might have just actually filmed at the arena. So, like, I think it pulls off this really cool feel of a film, but, like, keeping it in a very tight window in both real life and then obviously in the film's constraints, too.
I don't remember seeing anything about this.
Really? Okay. Yeah, it's a fun little romp on that one. Also, Josh Hartnett is legitimately like very, very good in it.
I'm just looking through the IMDb to see where it was shot. Filming locations: Hamilton, Ontario. They use the first Ontario Center.
Yeah, okay. They made it, I think they pitched as Philly, but yeah, makes sense. Because like, it definitely feels like a real arena, and that's what I think is really cool about it. Because like we both know you could do these and it doesn't feel right. You kind of like there are a lot of long shots where they're walking in, and I'm like, this feels like I'm in a concert venue or like some sort of sports stadium.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. You were talking about the new Shyamalan, and I thought it was The Watchers.
Mm. Also, I didn't process that the singer in this concert was Shyamalan's daughter. I just now realized as I'm pulling it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. Go check it out. Obviously, not theaters by now, but I would say go check out Trap. Jumping down to some film and TV stuff. We only got a few. The first one was news early in the month. I just wanted to shout out because obviously there's something going on here. In the death of Matthew Perry, we have some people arrested, including two doctors. This was a reporting we pulled by AP, but obviously it's kind of everywhere. It sounds like I'm gonna be very curious this Matthew Perry story, kind of how many people get kind of in the snow and how like it definitely has parallels. I feel like to like when Michael Jackson died at this point of like negligence slash like people doing stuff they shouldn't be and kind of like abusing the system. Like it's this really weird of like yeah, this is it's also like a sad story too of someone who obviously like was very famous of kind of like what they fell into and kind of this very I think tragic end for this.
I mean, the worst thing to come out of this is some of the quotes in this of the investigation
Mm-hmm.
where they're talking about like, you know, this dude's like, so far gone and we're gonna do that, you won't know a thing and all this and that, and it's like, how are we still how are we still in a world where people are freely talking about this?
Mm-hmm. Like how is this not yeah. Like a lot of this I think this is one of the stories that you determined who bad people were real fast.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the best way to call it. Which sometimes we get those stories and you just go, I see who's on the wrong side of this. Yeah. Adjust accordingly. Yeah. And other film stuff, and less said, but I thought interesting casting choice. MGM Studios, obviously owned by Amazon, have announced that Nicolas Cage is to play John Madden in Dave Aressa directed Madden. Obviously, this will kind of talk about the life of John Madden, and specifically, it is kind of talking about and touching on the game too. Immediately, I'm curious, what did you kind of think of first this as a film, and then specifically like that combo of Nicolas Cage and David O. Russell as in this?
I I'm worried because it just doesn't feel like Nicolas Cage can get. I mean, obviously prosthetics can do wonders.
Mm-hmm.
But John Madden was a massive human being.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, it's I mean, he was a football player, so it's like an actor is going to have a hard time getting that size. And I only say that because it's like I
Mhm.
do kind of worry about, like, this could go a little off the rails if it's not done right.
That is my concern too. Is I think it very much might.
So that's kind of how I feel about it.
Yeah, I don't know if I think you're that wrong. Jumping into it, let's start with I think the biggest immediate news, which is kind of surprising with this list. Uh, since we have talked last, Concord has both been released and then de-released by Sony based on its lack of player count and general negative feedback. I have never seen something quite this scale be pulled back like this before. I don't know if you saw that and were equally like I don't know if you seemed less shocked to me that actually happened when it did, but I think we'd both agree like this fundamentally is going to be a big concern on Sony's balance sheet, and I'll be very concerned what's going to happen to the team attached to this game in the long term.
Yeah, it's definitely a worry where it's like, okay, they spent, what was it, like 8 years on this, and they had 25,000 keys sold.
Mm-mm.
And I told you, I'm like, how many of those are press keys or streamer keys? Like, even if it's 1,000, they clearly didn't do a great job of. Also, the problem is, right, like, Concord was, what, $40?
Yeah,
If
that
I
sounds
remember
right.
right.
Yeah, that sounds about right for its launch.
There's so many games in this genre that are free.
Yeah, I was wondering that too. Like that seemed to me seemed like one of those like I understood from a logistics point of view why, but like it definitely set them up, I think, for a worse setup. Oh yeah, how do you stand out, and then how do you convince someone at that price point?
I just don't know how you do.
Yeah. The next one, let's jump into. Uh, this was what I assumed was going to be the top story until it wasn't. I'd say the next domino that we've been expecting to fall did. Would you like to take the lead and kind of, since I feel like you probably have you've been calling, I think, the death of these outlets for a while, a bit more than I have even.
Yeah, I mean, with Game Informer shutting down, I mean, obviously, like, you hate to see an institution like Game Informer go down. But I think the writing on the wall with Game Informer was there as soon as GameStop really started to involve themselves. Because you hear stories from, like, the guys over at MinMax or Dan Reichert or some of the other Tim Turi, some of the other Game Informer guys that have gotten out and gone on to do other things. GameStop really didn't start to get involved until fairly recently.
Yeah, which surprised me, honestly. Like, I didn't know if I realized how independent it truly still was in that way.
So, you just look at it and go, okay, it makes sense, right? Like, GameStop's last hurrah was to flood the world with Game Informer.
I would say the last hurrah, wouldn't it be that independent subscription that popped up?
Yeah, that was their, like...
Which
hey,
how bad did that have to bomb for this to be the turnaround effect?
I genuinely, I wonder what number GameStop had in mind. Right? Like, was it just so inflated of a number that they would have never made it? was it a situation where I don't even know, right? Like, was the number so high that they
Was it
would have
made to
never
fail?
reached it, right? Like, was GameStop basically betting the future of GameStop on Game Informer's independent subscription?
You don't think they were, right? Like, there's no way they'd be that insane.
No, but also that company is just weird, right?
That's true.
So that's probably why I wouldn't put it past them.
Yeah.
Um,
Like, how long do you think they have left? Is kind of the question, I guess. Then, because to
GameStop?
me, I feel like the writing's on the wall at this point.
It's got to be close. I just don't see how. How do you go forward in a world that's more and more digital, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
you just don't guess, right?
Like I'm not saying, and because part of it is, it's not saying that there isn't a utility to them. It's is the utility to the scale that makes sense for like this public company.
yeah.
Like I think if this was a small outlet boutique in a major cities and there's like 40 of them, yeah, I'd probably be a lot more. But that's not what they want to be, obviously.
Yeah.
And also, like, it's a brand that has recognition, but doesn't have like positive recognition too, which fights them.
Yeah. You do wonder, right? Like, as it's as the world becomes more and more just, I guess, cash strapped is the best way to put it.
Mm-hmm.
GameStop is one of those institutions that is going to die. Right? Like, I think the writing for GameStop was on the wall when Best Buy stopped carrying games.
Yeah. They were one of the last like major to do it.
Best Buy, I can't imagine the overhead to have games in store was very high. Right?
Yeah, because well, I've definitely heard some numbers. I feel like were like the problem was like how fast now that games were like going on sale too. Like something that was $60 could be 40 within a month, and you paid $50 from a retail point of view on those assets.
Oh, you would have never paid that much,
but you're still paying like very quickly. Those price cuts made them not profitable from that first batch.
So I give them, well, honestly, I mean, because it's a meme stock, I think they will get.
That was what I was laughing a few minutes ago. I was thinking about it. I'm like, I wonder how much that is keeping it up.
They are getting a lifeline because of that for sure. But what I don't get with these meme stocks, right? Like it's been over a year now that this has been going on. How does the stock price survive earnings, right? Like, is GameStop owned by so many people that have no idea what an earnings call is? That they don't pay attention to them. They don't care about the numbers that the company's putting out, just that the number on their, on their Robinhood app or whatever app they use is going up.
Mm-hmm.
It's.
If I remember, I think they were selling some to like make a profit off that. Which, like, TBH, I can't blame them.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not the one doing it.
Yeah, I mean, there's it's a very valid response.
Right, because like a company can't do that, but like they can participate in what's happening.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Going from that, we'll jump into, I think, the most, unexpected, but there is good news kind of thrown in this one, which is the savior of Tango Gameworks. Krafton has announced they are acquiring what's left of the team, which is still a little confusing what that actually means. And then obviously most of the IP connected to them. Their most famously recently used Typha Rush, and then they got shuttered. So I don't know if you had kind of any impressions, because first off, I didn't know they were shopping them around, I guess. And then second off, it's kind of interesting how it's after it's shuttered that this all happened. Some of that kind of stood out to you for those things.
I mean, I think the part that stood out to me was kind of as Hi-Fi Rush was released and the response to it in the public eye, and then Xbox is like, "Nah, we're shutting this shit down," and you're going, "Why?" Right? It doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then, they had the balls to get on stage and be like, hey, we need more games like this. I forget which awards it was.
Oh, I want to call the BAFTAs, but I don't think that's correct.
Whatever award ceremony it was. It was around the award ceremony. It wasn't at the award ceremony, if I remember right. And like Xbox is like, we need more
games like it, I think was the quote.
Yeah, whatever exactly the quote was, and you're like, what are you talking about? Like, you guys literally just shut down basically the most successful version of one of these small games in a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like you don't realize it.
Especially for the thing though, I kept hearing though, which is a very valid point, was while this was small, it was not cheap. We looked at like the time it was and the size of the teams. Like it was actually surprisingly expensive for what it was, the output.
I'm not denying that. Right? Like, even though it's small, it could be expensive. But it is like, their quote that they made of,
it's what we need. Yeah, that's not a good.
It's what we need, and it's like, really? It's what we need, huh? But I guess it's good that they have a new home, right? Like,
I'll be curious what this actually means. Like, who gets brought over, who doesn't. Like, I guess there's some of that. I'm a little unclear of like what this means when you're acquiring a team that's just gone.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see, because there's clearly a lot of talent there. Or was there?
Mm-hmm.
Also, what is Krafton making other than, I'm assuming, like, Korean anime games?
Yeah, that was the other one I was kind of have like, what are they, like, are they just making more stuff than I processed?
I mean, they're clearly making money.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it raises a lot of questions.
Okay, now jumping to the I was wrong part of the part. Here's our closures and layoffs. First off, Meta has shut down Ready at Dawn, which that one I would have argued was probably their most famous of their internal teams at this point. That one actually surprised me a bit versus just like getting rid of more parts of that team. The next one is Bungie has announced quite a bit, but basically they're getting layoffs. They're restructuring part of it into another team, and they were winding down kind of Destiny 2 and the way we know it. This is the one that I was curious if you had any thoughts of. My real question is do you expect there to be a Bungie in the way we know it in the next like 5 years?
That's going to be the interesting question, right? Like, what is Bungie?
Mm-hmm.
Because you kind of felt like they produced themselves into a hole, I guess, of, you know, we're going to have 10 years of Destiny, and, you know, it didn't make it 10 years.
Yes.
So
I would say I think it's now like 10 years.
yeah.
And like it's still around, so I gotta say that
Yeah.
by that definition is making it, if that's what you're going at.
No, I'm more of like, I think people were expecting something after the 10 years of Destiny, but it's like Destiny is kind of screeching into the station, if you will, instead of like firing on all cylinders coming into the end of that saga.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, there's a lot of questions around, okay, what is it really? And what's next? Because, I mean, nothing Destiny's put out has been received very well.
I don't say nothing, but
I was gonna say, in the past, what, year and a half? Like,
what was that? Last Light, I think it's the one.
It's like a wet fart on everything that they release, and it makes you question a lot of stuff. So, about the health of Destiny as a franchise.
Yeah. So it's kind of gotta be curious if we actually get to see Marathon actually from them. That's the one that
very good question.
Like, I'm not saying it's not coming out. Are they releasing it? Becomes my question.
I don't know.
Like, I could see a world where it gets pulled, can't you?
Yeah.
Or like you like this spin-off thing, that's what they get, and then you just slowly, ever so slowly remove it.
Yeah, I see a world where it just doesn't even.
Also, did you see what has to be the greatest joke I saw about this is the person who is in charge of making the Halo killer is slowly killing Bungie.
It makes sense.
Because Gorilla, like that's what Killzone was supposed to be.
Yeah.
And obviously that's you get in charge of PlayStation now. So it's kind of this funny of like, end of the day, it's weird that Bungie did lose. But yeah, jumping in, Ubisoft had some layoffs to talk about. Jam City had more. It's like the third, I think, in like a year and a half. And then we had support team and Toadman Interactive had it. And then lastly, Rocksteady also announced some. I think Rocksteady's was probably surprising, but I was surprised how long from the release of Suicide Squad this happened.
Yeah, you do wonder, like, why it lasted this long, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And especially, like, we've seen so many studios just, like, cut bait immediately. So for it to to stick, like the team to seemingly stick around for a while is kind of impressive, I guess.
Yeah, because I just would have kind of assumed, like, we knew immediately the level of problems they're running into. So, like, I just assumed this would have happened already, personally.
Yeah.
So, which is like, that is a studio I'm actively, I think, concerned about if we get to its next output or not, based on its ownership and everything, too, on top of Suicide Squad not being a hit. So, we shall see. Okay. That's it for the news. Jumping into what's coming out. Would you like to, or do you want me to just go through a list?
Sure, why not? Have fun.
All right. So we get What the Car on the 5th from our teams with behind What the Golf. Diablo 4 gets its expansion in Vessel of Hatred on the 8th of October. Black Ops 6, 25th of October. AC Shadows, November 15th. Flight Simulator 24 on the 19th of November. Stalker 2 on the 20th. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle coming to Xbox PC on December 9th, coming next year to PS5. And then Monument Valley coming on December 10th. It says Netflix. It just basically is, I think it's like iOS and Android on the Netflix games. The other note I wanted to point out, which annoyed me, I used to pull this list from Game Informer. So I had to go hunting for a new list. Which, for the record, how did they have the best version of that list? I don't understand. But they did. I basically wanted like a glorified beatable Excel sheet.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, it makes sense why Game Informer, the company that is run by, the largest games only retailer in the country, would be able to.
Yeah, because they had a legit good one. It really didn't miss stuff. It told me kind of when everything was, and it was the thing I liked about it too. It was updated pretty regularly. Where some of these, the problem is finding the right one. So, please forgive me if I miss one or two the next months, but I'm still hunting, kind of figure out the new system on that one. But
yeah,
let's come out there. Anything stand out for you on this list, or because I feel like at this point that to me the tail end of the year was kind of calm, honestly. Like this is the normal big hitters, but like nothing to these like screams at me the same.
Yeah, really nothing that I'm seeing where I'm instantly going, I'll check out AC Shadows because of Ubisoft Plus. But that's about it.
And that's the one I could think of too. That on this, no, two for Black Ops 6, but like that's the one to me that I think I'm most like intrigued by to see how it's going to be.
I mean, Stalker 2 is definitely up there on the list of things I want to pay attention to. But those games are just way too involved.
Yeah, I was gonna say that is. Those are one of the ones when you read it, it's like that seems like a little too much work for me.
Yeah.
It's like my opinion of Metro kind of has that feeling sometimes. I'm like, you get there, but like there's that line of fun amount of work versus too much, and they really hug it.
Yeah. Yeah, the Stalker games definitely feel like that.
So yeah, and then lastly, we have our list for Movie Club. I think you've thought this through. Walk us through any of the ones that shout out to you kind of going into the month.
I mean, Beetlejuice doesn't look great. Joker Full Ado is not getting good reviews.
Yeah, it's funny. I didn't even put it on this because that.
Yeah. Transformers 1 looks fun.
Yeah, that like it does, which is kind of shocking.
But it also looks like maybe it's a more of a kids movie style thing. I don't even know what the 4:30 movie is supposed to be.
Oh, that's the Kevin Smith one.
Oh. And then one that we completely overlooked is The Killing Game with Dave Bautista.
Which I think to me sounds like a very valid option.
It sounds fun.
Right.
And, as we round out the year, I think that's because we're going to have the heavy hitters in November and December.
Mhm.
I think September, October, we just need to have fun with these. And Killing Game looks like one of those, it's fun. Like, it's a John Wick-esque movie, but with a dude that definitely feels like he could be a John
Is
Wick.
that going to be this year's Beekeeper? Is that what we feel like it's going to be?
I think Beekeeper was this year, so.
Was it still? Was it like
was
early this year? It must be like super early. It was Feb. It was, and it was January.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be Killing Game. The Killing Game.
Yeah, I think it's the
Or the Killer's Game.
Killer's Game.
That's it. It has Dave Bautista, Ben Kingsley, Terry Crews. Yeah. It's going to be an interesting time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's it. Go check it out. It comes out like next week from this coming out. So,
Yeah.
Go check it out.
We'll be having fun with that.
Yeah, that's it for us here. Do you have anything else to? What are you doing? What are you doing with your weekend? Anything adventures?
Nope. Kind of chill for now. Nothing too crazy.
Nice. Well, we will then see all of you next time then.